Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the podcast, The Everything Horror. And even though I said last time, as you probably heard, or something so many episodes ago, maybe, I don't even remember what episode this is going to be because it's just like boom, boom, boom. But anyway, yes, I am Paul Doski with my lovely fiance,
Tessa Baker.
And you know what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about, well, first, let's just put it this way. It's getting nice and sunny, right, babe? And, what's the one thing people like to do when it gets nice and sunny?
Go camping.
Yes. And, in this case, it's not a bad idea. Well, I mean, it's not a bad idea, but it is a bad idea. I mean, because we're here to talk about Don't Fuck in the Woods. Director, writer is with us, Shawn Burkett. Shawn, welcome aboard. Great to
Hello. It's great to be here.
So, Shawn, for those that are listening and Tessa and I, could you please describe yourself, just a little origin story of how you got into horror and what made you want to become a writer-director?
Where to start? I was a touring musician for about 15 years, and I ended up having a son. And I knew with having a son, I couldn't just pick up and go how I used to. So growing up, I always constantly, like on a weekly basis, visited the local video store, and I've always loved movies, especially horror. And my business partner now, Ryan Stacy, came over one night and we were talking, and he was like, so Joe Bob Briggs is having a contest to like turn scripts into movies. And he's like, I have a script. And we just started talking more and more about it over the next couple weeks. And you know, I was a full-time dad, so at that point I was kind of going stir crazy. And I was like, why don't we just make it? And he gave me a look kind of like I was nuts. Like, do you know what all that would take? I had no idea, but we figured it out. And that's pretty much how I started making movies.
Well, that's a cool idea. I like connection is always a good thing. Connecting with other people, it just it's an interesting way to get more than one head involved to maybe think of also something that somebody else couldn't have think of to maybe put in the script, or in this case, since you directed it, maybe you had a certain shot idea or some type of knowledge of like this specific shot couldn't work unless we did it this way. So it's always cool to get different creative minds together to create a creative project, just like Don't Fuck in the Woods, because it's a nice. I think Tessa and I can at least. Well, I could probably say we vouched that it was a nice, fun. I don't know if I want to say campy movie, but it was like it definitely was one of those fun ones, especially with the practical effect of the creature, which I thought was very fantastic looking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a pain in itself.
Oh, I can only imagine. So, Shawn, out of curiosity, is I believe, like with your upcoming project or projects, I should say, that you have coming out in the future, was this movie also funded by Indiegogo?
Yes, this Don't Fuck in the Woods was funded on Indiegogo, and what's funny is that nobody really wanted anything to do with it. I used to get hate mail, like death threats, all because of a four-letter word that I put in the title. It was a crazy time. It was a pain to cast because a lot of people were like, I don't want that kind of thing to happen to me. And yeah, it was just it was crazy. It was very crazy. We ended up having, over the span of, I believe, 2 years, 4 different Indiegogo campaigns to raise the $7,500 we needed to actually make the movie.
Wow. Wow, that is really crazy. And is it just because of the idea of the script and stuff? Is that why it was so hard to find people, or was it just like just the idea of being in a horror movie? I'm just curious, like, because I mean, there is a lot of sexual thing going on, because that's the whole point of the movie. But was that really the big issue for some people?
It was, because when we first cast the film, really only one person that was in the first initial cast ended up being in the movie, and that was my ex-wife, Aisha Howard, who plays Alex. She'd been in it from day one. Other than that, it was just a revolving door. People would see either it getting a lot of good attention or a lot of bad attention online. You know, they were honestly kind of scared. They didn't know what could happen. The film could have either flopped, it could have done okay, or it could have been crazy successful. They just didn't know how to feel about it.
Well, I don't know. I apologize about the X part, but I guess sometimes I don't know. It's always either for the best, or sometimes it just happens that way. So I apologize about that. And
my ex-wife?
Yeah.
Oh, she was my ex-wife then.
Oh, okay.
I was actually married to another woman during that movie, which we actually got divorced halfway through, but that's whatever.
Yeah, I guess. So if I had to ask you all the struggles and that you had with this movie, you could probably write a book with that. Would it seem of how much you have gone through just to create this film?
I could definitely write a book. What's funny is that currently a documentary is being made about the film and the process of it and all the struggles and everything that happened during those years.
Yeah, you were asking for people who have seen the movie to help you out or something, correct?
Yeah. Basically, like, anyone who's seen the movie, whether they loved it or hated it, could just give an honest opinion, like video testimony, and answer a couple questions.
How would somebody have to help you out with that? Or I'm trying to figure out the right wording right now, but I guess I can't. But yeah, how can somebody get involved, I should say?
We have all the information up at Content Media LLC/casting. You can see all the info there, download the questions and a video release, and it's just got the step-by-steps on everything that you would need to do.
Oh, cool. I'll have to provide the link in the description of this episode to help you out with that. Hopefully.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We'll be willing to help you out with your documentary. Tessa and I could probably help out too by putting something since we watched it for you. So give you a more honest opinion. That's why we're talking with you anyway. So yeah. Now, how long did the shooting take to create Don't Fuck in the Woods?
We shot. Well, there's 3 different versions of the film that we shot.
Oh wow.
We shot one version in early, I want to say it was May of 2015. Then we had some issues come up, and we had to recast. So then we started again in September of 2015, and we got rained out most of the time. So that version is very rainy. And then we came back in June of 2016 and finished by September 2016.
Wow. That, I mean, well, I guess Mother Nature is always her own thing, so you can't always beat what you throw at you, I guess. But so Shawn, so what happened with you guys? You made your movie, right? And you found a distribution thing, and then what happened from there? Because that's why we're here. You're having some very horrible time now. It seems with the post that I've seen, wherein what you have mentioned with like a Wego download, and like you haven't seen any money or something like that. So yeah, what happened with this after you found your distribution?
Well, okay, what we did was in October of 2016, we put the film out ourselves. I've honestly always just kind of been against distribution. I felt we've been self-distributing at that point for like 4 years. So we didn't really see a need to go that route. That lasted until about February of 2017, when sales from the movie just dropped. I mean, we were getting a steady, let's say minimum 10 orders a day from October 2016 to February 2017. And then it just went to zero, and it stayed at zero for like 4 months. So at that point, we found out that we had been pirated.
Oh no.
And, there weren't like huge plays. I mean, it was in like, I think on the sites that we were able to find, like maybe like 800 plays to like 1,200 plays. We didn't really think that it was going to be like this huge fucking thing. And then we found that people were bootlegging it. Like, there's still a site is still up in it's a Pakistani site, and they have all of like my movies available like on Blu-ray and DVD, which is crazy. So at that point, I just decided, hey, I mean, nothing is happening with this. We got distribution offers. I should see if any of these are still available. And there were 5 distribution offers available. And I mean, aside from Trauma, I hadn't really heard of any other companies. So, I've heard of Trauma and Gravitas Ventures. I've always heard horrible things about Trauma, about filmmakers not making any money off of them. Which actually, I have another film that was put out by Trauma, and I still haven't seen a dime from that either.
Wow.
So I decided to go with Gravitas Ventures. Like, all my producers who were behind me felt that would be the best bet. They had the initially best offer. So then they released it in February of 2018. And yeah, I still haven't seen any money. I can't get a hold of them. I have called, I've emailed, and nobody wants to reply to me, because unfortunately, since my name is on the copyright, I'm the only one that can ask questions about money. So it's like I get a statement every 4 months that shows the sales and shows, well, it says like what they're putting money into, but it doesn't actually say what those things are.
That's
so
kind of sketchy.
Right. So it's like 1 month I'll see it's like, okay, cool. We have paid them back their initial investment that they put into the film, which means we can start making money. So it's like, so this next, billing cycle, I should have a check. But then for some reason, there's this more money tacked on. So it's like, I just want to know.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean, that's a big reason why I'm still against distribution companies. And I've got 4 different films, or 3 different films with 4 different distributors that I don't hear anything from them. It's getting to the point to where distribution companies, they really just don't care, in my opinion.
No, I completely agree with you, Shawn. From what I've heard with people getting screwed over by distribution, it's really sad for people like you, because you want that paycheck to help you create that next movie. And I mean, as much as crowdfunding is great half the time, but you probably don't really want to keep looking at that as an option all throughout your home, or I should say all your movies. And
well, that's actually a big problem.
Go ahead.
As far as crowdfunding, people will see the success that a film has done, and then they'll be like, okay, well, this film, when we raised money for Don't Fuck in the Woods 2, we were able to raise, I want to say it was like $16,000 or close to it.
Right.
So then it's like, when I tried to raise funds for my Bigfoot film, which needed less money, we barely got anything. Like, we're still raising funds and looking for investors to try to make that one.
Wow. Since I haven't created a film and haven't gone through the shoes or walked through the shoes that you're wearing, Shawn, I mean, I can only imagine all the stress and everything that must be built and carried on your shoulders just to want to get your project off the ground, to either just at least for the entertainment purpose. I mean, besides of all the bullshit that has happened with you, but I mean, you want to create your stories that come to life and at least get it seen out there. So, and yeah, I mean, crowdfunding is becoming a little bit more, I can't, like you said, it's going to be more of a pain just because, we said it before one time where it's like, if you do not have a popular brand, nobody really is gonna want to help support you unless you have some type of brand name that everybody knows, and then people will like want to give you all the money in the world just by a popular brand. And I think that might be one of the problems nowadays, is just because a lot of people that do crowdfunding don't want to give indie creators a chance, just like you guys. And I think that might be why it's also affecting you, possibly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion, but maybe also just because of like what you were saying too, because of everything being funded by a crowdfund.
Right. I mean, it doesn't. I hope I don't sound like an asshole here, but I probably will. There's just so many filmmakers, like established filmmakers, using crowdfunding to where it's like, when I was raising funds for my film Stranded, 1031 Part 2 was raising funds. Director PJ Stark was raising funds. There were like 5 other filmmakers that like I support that were raising funds. And it was like, oh wow. this is gonna be hard. And what's kind of sad is that no one hit their goals because there were so many of us trying to raise funds at the same time.
That's true. That's true. That another issue too is that, you know, there's a lot of good things out there, and it's just like, what does one person want to put their money for to help, kind of thing. So yeah, that definitely is a problem too, because, you know, if we were all rich, we would probably give out more money if we could, but since we aren't that rich, we can only help those when we see them, versus like if one barely started the next day or something.
Right. But it's just, I've been kind of talking about that, but it seems like every 2 years there's some sort of movement or change in the independent film community to where we all have to kind of adapt, and we have to learn or find new ways of approaching films. It's like, I would love to be able to do this for a living. I don't know if that'll ever be a thing. But at the same point in time, I'm not doing this to make money. Like, when we do a crowdfunder, none of that money goes in my pocket. I don't get that. Like, I don't get to be like, ha ha ha, I have $10,000. Because whenever I do a money or do a movie, like it ends up costing more than what I raise.
Right. And
so it's a lot of money up front, out of my pocket. Like, wow, for Stranded, you know, we had to. The mask alone was handmade by Immortal Masks, and you know that was $1,000 just for a mask. And then we had to build a suit. I mean, there was every bit of $2,500 into just pre-production to do a teaser to barely see this Bigfoot to hopefully raise money for it.
Wow. And that's another problem too, Shawn, is like, you know, when people say the same thing really more toward like music more than movies, I would say. And that's just because of the comments that I've seen. But people don't really realize how much it really does hurt somebody like you when your stuff is illegally downloaded or watched without having anything come through into your pockets as well. But in this case, you're having that issue as well, where you're not even seeing the money. But, you know, and what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, from what I've seen from people's comments, they say, like, you know, music was meant to be free. What the hell does that mean? So, like, so you're saying this artist can spend we'll just say 10 grand to make an album, and they don't deserve one penny back to help fund to get to the next album. Like is that the same way with like a movie? Like, you know, you guys make a budget of, let's just say, 10 grand to make a film, and if you don't even break what you spend, then how are you going to be able to make that next movie besides using a crowdfund or something else?
It's all hope and chance. That's the film industry. You got to hope for the best, and you got to take chances. You'll learn from those. Oh, you'll learn from those, because when you can't get your budget, then you have to look for an investor or a producer. And at that point, I mean, most, I don't know. I had one bad experience with an investor because they knew I was in a tight place. I was only like $2,000 away from making this film. So they were like, okay, no problem. I'll do that for 30% of everything it makes. So then it's, do I let a bunch of people down and not make the film? Or do I just not me personally make money off of it, but get to put it out.
Wow.
So I put it out.
That right there is probably wow. Like that is a sacrifice in its own self right there. Like wow. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, I mean, I hear this stuff all the time, and it's just like, I just feel bad for you guys of all the shit that you guys got to go through. And, we were talking with a couple people one time or a couple episodes ago and stuff back in January when the news hit about Amazon pulling indie films for no apparent reason, or if there was some reason, it was just like in your case with your film title, you guys had to censor the swear word, but that was whatever. But I mean, others get pulled for some stupid stuff though. Like now you can't say ass apparently. Now you got to say but, and then there's apparently offensive content where if you have that in your film, you need to now take it out of it. Like, it's just, I just don't get it sometimes. So, I mean.
Yeah, I had a couple filmmaker friends because obviously with my title, they came to me and like, did yours get pulled? And I was like, no. But also, mine wasn't on Amazon Prime. Like, basically, filmmakers make more off of Amazon Prime than it just being on Amazon. And that's mainly because of, I can't remember, it's either the number of watches or something like that. Like, they get a small percentage per watch versus, regular Amazon, just, you get a percentage of the purchase.
I think it's with Prime. It's like 4 cents a minute that is watched or something like that.
Okay.
And then, so if you're not on it Prime, then the percentage of the sale purchase, that would make sense then. But in this case, you haven't really seen it. So, I mean, how would you even know what's really coming in unless have you been told what you get, like what is coming in, but you just haven't seen the money, the profit, I should say, or do you?
Well, they keep tagging on things like, and like they'll say that this costs this much, but they'll put like a number or like some code of what it is. It doesn't say like, we had to make this many discs. Because something that a lot of people don't know about distribution companies is that very rarely do the distribution companies actually make the discs. They will have a third-party company be the one to make the discs, and they'll get a small percentage of what the distribution company was to get from doing that.
Yep.
Because it's like, Don't Fuck in the Woods was available online at Target, Walmart, and Best Buy, but not through Gravitas Ventures. It was through this third-party company. So it's like distribution companies, they distribute, but they distribute to other distribution companies. Like, actually for, I believe it's for Don't Fuck in the Woods to get on iTunes, it's actually through Shout Factory.
Wow.
So there's like one film, it turns out there's like 5 different distribution companies. They just don't tell you that. That was me doing research and finding out.
Yeah, it's all about that research, and you just gotta find that right distribution. But it's hard. I mean, I don't even know if there's even any type of distribution I could tell you to check out. Have you ever heard of what they call the new home for indie films? It's called Scream Team Releasing.
Yeah, I've met those guys a couple times. They just weren't really interested in Don't Fucking With.
Right. I remember talking
I'm
with
trying to remember Justin Seaman.
Yep.
Because we were actually in talks with him to release a film that Tori Jones had made called Angel. So the distribution aspect of filmmaking is just very tedious. Like right now, we're currently we just started a VOD platform through Vimeo.
Good.
Where you can watch via Vimeo, because we found that most Blu-ray players and smart TVs have Vimeo now.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that costs $250 a year, and you can upload like 20 gigabytes worth of film footage a week.
Wow.
So that's where I've been telling other independent filmmakers to go. Plus, you get reports every day. Like each time a sale happens, you can see it all right then and there.
That's good. Well, that's good. I mean, at least you're finding different platforms to go on to hopefully, actually, in this case, see the money versus getting told one thing and getting told another. To just pretty much just go, well, I don't give up. I mean, I give up because every time you ask, you just get some new excuse that comes through the door knob of something. So
right,
yeah.
Because no matter what, if your film is available on any digital platform, people can copy it, people can steal it, and that's going to happen regardless. Like even on Vimeo on demand. I mean, in this day and age, you watch it on your computer and there's a screen capture software, and then that's the end of it.
Right. Now, what do you think is in your preferred way, Shawn? Do you prefer having your films on physical form or digital form?
I prefer physical form. I mean, I know a lot of people do, but at the same point in time, my main goal is to get any film that I do or my company does out there as far as possible. And a lot of people are all digital now.
Did that scare you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm still surprised that people are making CDs and putting them out.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, things will change. It's like, I'm not sure if you heard, but like iTunes is going away. Like iTunes will no longer be available. They're shutting it down.
Yeah, I heard that.
So, I mean, that right there, I mean, there's going to be kind of a learning curve, but in the end, I think that will definitely help with piracy.
Right.
I mean, there are millions of people who actually pay for their music and their movies, but then there's just as many people who don't.
Right. But I would to touch on to what you're saying about the physical form. I personally prefer physical myself, Shawn, just because it's in my hand. I actually know I have a copy of it. Versus in digital, where as you were just saying, iTunes is getting shut down. So what does that mean? That means everything that you purchase is no longer going to be available for you.
Right.
or it could be, but how? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are they going to make it so that all your stuff is still going to be available for you?
Right.
So that's,
I mean, yeah, they've got some things that they'll have to work out for sure. But I've always believed that physical media is the best, and that's why sometimes we'll try to offer something just crazy. Like we'll do a CD, DVD, Blu-ray combo pack. We'll make sure that there's a 10 by 10 mini poster inside, as well as some stickers. Like just to try to entice people to buy the physical media.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember back in the day too, where remember like video games, or even sometimes some movies came with like a pamphlet of like just like a little booklet that you could go skim through. Now we don't really see that. We just see like a piece of paper that just gives us a code for the digital download. That's about it. So,
right.
And then, I mean, there's so much more people can do with physical media as far as like what you're saying, like a 10 by 10 poster, sticker. There's so much more you can add to a package rather than just having a disc in it. So,
right.
But so yeah, you said you were mentioning that you had 3 films that you were working on. One that you were talking about was Stranded. Another is Don't Fuck in the Woods 2. And then I just probably saw the name like earlier, but now I'm drawing a brain fart of what your other project is. But what are you gonna do as far as like, are you gonna create more crowdfunding campaigns? Are you not? And then just pretty much what you were saying was looking for either a producer or a investor, or how do you guys want to fulfill your upcoming projects?
Well, the way the content media works is because now we have 8 or 9 people in the company. It used to be just myself and Ryan until this year. So basically, everybody gets a turn. Like if a project is going to have a higher budget, something like Don't Fuck in the Woods, where we'd need like $14,000 to make it. We'd prefer that project to have a slot to try to crowdfund at the end of February, beginning of March, just because that's tax return season. So that's kind of a part of our strategy, is looking at when people actually have purchased films from us. Because we have records that go back years, and we can see on a graph, what months where we sold the most. And it's generally February and beginning of March, as well as July and August.
I can definitely understand February and March because of the tax season. July and August, I'm assuming maybe from people that get overtime. I'm not quite sure on that one. So that's very interesting to hear.
A lot of people, surprisingly enough, and I've had people ask me if I could sign it specifically to someone and wish them a happy Christmas in like August.
Okay.
Just because I know as far as like our website, we'll have an end of summer sale where we'll do like everything is like all Blu-rays are $10. So people will go and just splurge and buy like 5 to 10 Blu-rays. So I can see that, but basically from one of our producers does analytics as well, and people will start preparing to buy for Christmas from August until October, and that's where a lot of people in the age range that we try to look at. I have trouble believing that sometimes, just because I'm a last minute shopper. Like I'll go out like the week before Christmas and just get everything in a day.
I'm the same way. Yep. I would.
It's like I can't hide presents. As soon as I buy somebody something, I just want to give it to them and be like, here.
How do I hide this for 6 months?
Right.
Yeah. And, that's like my fiance, her birthday is next Thursday. And, like, well, I guess she's going to know now. No, I haven't gotten you anything yet, but that's because I had an idea for when we had the day off on Friday. Waka waka.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, he's plotting.
I had the best plot in the world. No.
I don't know. Should I be scared?
Yeah, you should be fine. But, but yeah, Shawn, is there anything that you would actually like to add to this that I haven't touched on? Or, like, is there anything that's really, like, I would say bothering you to the point where you feel like people shouldn't know?
I mean, there's a lot of indie filmmakers out there that, we're not doing this for the money, but a lot of them have been pirated as well. And it's like, I'm not good at math, but actually, I've recently found out that the film has had at least over 2 million illegal plays, because they'll get on like these streaming sites, or people will do a Fire Stick that they alter or something. And it's just weird to think about, because, okay, 2 million plays. Let's say everybody paid $1 for that. So there's $2 million. I personally, from that film, 25%. I don't know what 25 times 2 million is, but I can tell you it's a lot more money than what I heard.
Ain't that the truth?
It's just,
and it would pay off everything that you're trying to do too, Shawn. I mean, sorry for cutting you off, but I mean, it would help pay off probably like the money that you were owed, money to help fund your next 3 projects, possibly, if not even more, to make them better, and probably help pay bills that, if I may say, and I don't know for sure, but maybe you are in debt on, like, because you're not seeing that paycheck. And if, like, saying, if you got $1 for all that 2 million illegal watches, oh my God, yeah, you'd be all set for making money back and to make films.
Right. Well, okay, so 25% of $1 million would be 250,000 for times 3, so that'd be $500,000.
Wow. And
Holy
so
shit.
it's like, it's like I have so many goals and aspirations. Like, there's a piece of land that I want to buy, and I want to build like a backlot. I want to build stages and sets for not only myself and my films, but for other filmmakers to use. I also want to start a foundation to help other filmmakers make their movies. Like, kind of like, what was it, Project Greenlight? It's just, there are so many awesome stories out there that won't see the light of day just because they can't either properly get the funds or the people behind them.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Hollywood. I mean, they're either remaking films that have already been remade, or there's just not a whole ton of like kick-ass originality coming out of Hollywood.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like that is a good percentage of why I continue to try to make films, because I feel that I at least have a story that I think people should see and hear. It's something different than what they're going to get at, the local cinema, because it's not a movie that costs $30 million to make.
Right. And see, that's where people need to realize too that indie filmmakers are not Hollywood. They're never going to really be Hollywood, and then they're not going to make that realistic visual. They can only do so. You guys can only do so much. And I mean, I think you mentioned on how much the costume was for Stranded, but I don't know if you ever mentioned how much it was to create whatever that creature is for the Don't Fuck in the Woods. Just out of curiosity, how much did that creature outfit even cost?
Well, what's funny is that we had 3 different creature suits that we made over the period of like 4 years. The first one we had commissioned, and it just didn't work for us, but that was $1,200. The second one we probably spent about probably $700 on making, and we actually used it in the film for the opening scene. That's why you don't see very much of the creature, because it looked like crap. But then we went to a party city. We bought an adult male Incredible Hulk costume, painted it, put silicone on it, and that cost us about $150, and that was the final the final creature.
And that is how you spend money wisely and create something cool, just by getting a normal costume. So that's really cool and clever and cheap compared to like a $4,000 costume that was custom made or something. So it's
right.
So that's pretty good. And I'm trying to remember what I was going to go with. I was thinking of something too. Now, you mentioned a website. Now, what website is that, Shawn?
conceptmedia.com/casting is where you can go to find all the information about the Don't Fuck in the Woods documentary called What Happens in the Woods.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely make sure to provide that link for sure. And so, Shawn, just for one more thing for people that are listening, and for like indie filmmakers out there that are trying to become one, what is maybe one or two advices that you would give if they wanted to start a indie film? What would you tell them?
I would say spend money on the right thing. You need a good camera and you need good light. If your film looks good, people will buy it. That's one of the big things. As sucky as that kind of sounds, and it kind of, it leads back to the Hollywood thing, but Hollywood movies look better than independent films because they've got more money. But literally for about $2,000, you can get a Blackmagic camera, a Rokinon lens that's a Cinema Prime, and a set of lights, which are LED, which are beautiful. It's basically, that's one of the setups that we use. It's actually the setup we use to shoot Don't Fuck in the Woods.
Very nice.
So, as far as filmmaking tips, that would definitely be it. And if you go into distribution, don't sign any contract that is over 5 years.
Yes. I can't. I mean, I would like to say I agree with you, but it's for somebody like me that hadn't really, like I said earlier, walked in your shoes to really get through it. But in this case, I will agree with whatever comes out of your mouth because you've experienced it firsthand. So if I would listen to anybody, it would be people like you, Shawn, who have experienced the roughness and the not so great diving board. Instead, you get like a diving board to the face and everything else that you guys have gone through. And I just wish that people would really understand more of indie creators will never be Hollywood. They desperately need people's help when it comes to trying to make a movie and purchase their stuff to help make that next film. And maybe one day people might understand, but until then, I just really think that it's going to get worse with this piracy crap. And then next thing you know, we're going to be seeing a lot of good people like you, Shawn, that one day just going to say, you know what? I've had enough. Why do I want to keep spending money when I'm not seeing anything back and stuff like that? So that's what I'm afraid of in the future.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Last month, I was I was at that point when I found out all the piracy stuff of how gross the number had gotten. Like, I made a video, I was gonna publish it and everything. I will always be a part of independent film, but as far as me making my scripts in the movies, I was definitely going to take a break. Because it's just, there's only so many hits you can take. And like today, I found another website that is pirating Don't Fuck Around.
Oh, no.
So it's like, and this is me doing research for the documentary. Because I've got a piracy section in there, and I've got like screen caps from all these sites, but I don't put their logo on there. That way,
right? Yeah,
people aren't assholes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because when it comes to the piracy thing, a fan, someone who bought a copy of it, is the person who put it online. That's kind of what hits the hardest, I guess, out of all of it.
No, I just hearing you, talking to you about it, Shawn, like it's almost like I can hear how much it hurt you and how much you wish this didn't happen to you, and it's a shame. I mean, Don't Fuck in the Woods would probably the most fun I've seen in a while for something like that. And, and you weren't even trying to be like a serious film. It was more of a fun film to have people watch and support. And, you could have maybe done, I don't know, maybe 4 more instead of maybe, I'm just guessing right now. Well, not guessing, but I'm overthinking, but, that's what I'm saying, though. People need to realize that in order for indie people like you and others to move forward is by supporting your work. Without supporting your work, that's when people are going to start bitching and complaining because, they haven't seen another film from, well, to say you, and, and then it's just like, well, if I could see income, if I could get money to make the film, then yeah, I would gladly make one. But until then, with all this retarded illegal watches and stuff, it's kind of putting me in the negative. And as you were saying, you had everything ready to go to just call it quits. And I mean, what's keeping you together right now, Shawn? Like, seriously, like, what is making you want to push forward?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that because I don't know. I'm just when I make a film, I no matter if I'm the director or the writer, I'm a cinematographer first. So it's like as I'm writing it, I'm seeing how it's shot, the angles I want, how the camera moves, and that is probably my favorite part. That and like building sets, fabricating creatures, like because I'm on a creature kick at the moment, and I'm gonna keep going this route because I don't see a lot of people doing that either. Like,
Right.
just because it is a tedious thing. It's like right now in my apartment, right next to my desk, I've got animatronics that I've been building and learning how to build off of YouTube for Don't Fuck in the Woods too. So it's like I just really like the creative process of all of it, and it's like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really want to go into Don't Fuck in the Woods too, but my film that I did after Don't Fuck in the Woods basically it got buried because then Don't Fuck in the Woods blew up, and I was touring around to film festivals, and it was just a crazy time.
Wow. Well, Shawn, I will say I really hope that things turn around for you, and I just hope one day these ass fuckers that like to fuck with everybody, just finally learn or get the punishment they definitely deserve, or should I say the karma that will definitely be placed upon their heads, come crashing down on them full force to definitely feel the burn, I guess, in this case. And, I just hope that people like us and other people that appreciate your work help keep your head up afloat just to keep making movies just because you want to see your film come to life and at least show it to those like Tessa and I and others that are entertained by what you have created for us. And so, and like my final thing is like, I just, like I said, I just hope that you just keep your chin up and just keep moving forward and don't give up because you'll one day probably be able to get back everything that you should have gotten back.
That would be nice. But I mean, the main reason I do this is that, I mean, even my kids are kind of involved. They'll see me like drawing a monster, and then they'll start drawing posters for the movie. And like when we're trying to like fabricate a monster, they're there wanting to help. So it's like I definitely don't want to set an example of like quitting, because that would just, in my eyes, just be a bad situation all around.
Right.
But I mean, my kids are very crafty and artistic kids for being 6 and 8. But it's a lot of it's for them, a lot of it's for me. But yeah, it's as long as I get to keep making movies, I'll be a happy camper. I mean, I would love to quit my day job, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Maybe one day, Shawn. But
yeah.
But till then, I appreciate your time, Shawn, talking. It was definitely a wonderful chat with you. I definitely just, like I said, hope that people will one day just wake up and realize like what people are doing is literally hurting the indie people out there, and it doesn't even have to be filmmakers. It can be anybody that's trying to create something. Once you steal something from somebody, they're not making the money anymore. They're not making the money to bring in the fund to not only get back what they already spent, but to help make the next film of whatever it is, whether it be in the sequel to that film or something brand new. So just one day, man, and I just hope that, you know, you get the, you actually get back what you have lost, for sure.
And as long as people would realize that, you know, there's never been any sort of situation that stealing something was a positive thing, if people would just realize that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. People just need to get smacked around a few times, and then maybe they might wake up a little bit. I don't know. Who knows, right? But yes, no, Shawn, I do appreciate it, and you know, if you ever need to come talk with us again about anything, like even your upcoming Stranded film, once that gets going, if you would like to talk more about that, you're more than welcome to come back on to talk with us. Even if you wanted to talk about more of the situation that's going on with Don't Fuck in the Woods, and just because, you know, it maybe might help you to talk about it. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I just know normally when people talk about certain things, it helps get that stress off their shoulders. So we can definitely that way of at least releasing that stress for you.
Well, thank you. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I of course, unfortunately, couldn't really back your Stranded one because of money issues at that month. I think it was just because of you know, rent and crap like that. Like we all gotta pay. But no, I'm definitely I was hoping that I could at least have gotten the perk for your limited edition steelbook. Because I love steelbooks, so maybe one day if you settle things again or something. But yeah, Shawn, just definitely keep in touch with us. You're more than welcome to add our personal accounts if you'd like to keep up with us that way too. And for people that would like to either purchase or watch any of your films, where can anybody go again to watch your films?
ConceptMediaLLC.com. All of our films are available there on, most of them are Blu-ray, but there are some DVDs. You can actually get Don't Fuck in the Woods through there because we ended up buying a case from our distributor who charged us $8 a piece for them.
Wow. Well, there you go, folks, and that is how you support indie films right there, by going to the website provided, and you know, I'll have the link in the description, and that's how you help indie filmmakers. You buy, you don't steal, you watch and rent. You just don't steal and watch. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Shawn's like this way, but I mean, I hate to say it too, but I'll just say it anyway. One of those people that could watch it illegally, and I hate to say it like this, but if they like it enough, maybe they would purchase it, but maybe they're one of those guys where it's like, I don't know, maybe if I watched it first, but, you know, that's not the real way of doing it. The real way of doing it is just spending that, how much did we spend? Like $4 to rent. And you know what? That still counts. Supporting, and then what do you do? Wait till your next payday, and then you go to the website and you purchase that physical Blu-ray to help out an indie filmmaker, and that is how it is done. So, Shawn,
that's how the world turns.
Yeah, exactly. That's how the gears turn in everybody's head, or should head. If for some reason the gears are not turning, then oh boy, I guess you need to get repaired then. So, but yes, Shawn, thank you again. Definitely keep in touch with us, and we'll definitely have to have you back on. And I just can't wait to see your upcoming projects and hopefully you'll knock them out of the park, I'll say.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again, Shawn. And for everybody listening, thank you so much for your time, for listening. And hopefully you guys now have an understanding of how much important it is to support a filmmaker. And on that note, like always, everybody, make sure to stay scary.